Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this strapless bustier dress step by step. Today's version also has no waistline seam, and the overall aim of the tutorial is to show you that you can make a fitted and cinched bustier dress without boning or bust cups, cause my dress doesn't have any of this and it still has the fit I want. And the reason is, once your pattern drafting is right, you really can never go wrong. Now sit back, relax, and let's get straight into the video. First things first, I'm going to trace out my patterns. I already drafted this pattern before, so I'm just going to trace it out on a new piece of paper, and that is what I'll be using for today's tutorial. That is the major benefit of pattern drafting, guys. You can draft your pattern, keep it somewhere, and keep using and reusing as many times as you want, so long as the paper doesn't tear. So yeah, I'm just going to trace out all the lines I need, and then we can now work on today's design tutorial. And now I'm just going to pencil out all the lines that I traced out so that it becomes visible for both of us to see. And guys, this is my front pattern. We'll be starting with the front pattern, and the first thing I'm going to be doing is to measure out my full length, and mine is 62 inches. So I'm just attaching a piece of paper to that so I can write, label, and mark out my full length. Now the next thing I'm going to measure is my above knee. My above knee level is 37 inches, and right there I'm going to go in by 1 inch and then reconnect back to my hip line. At the full length line, I'm going to go in by 3 inches and connect to the mark at my above knee lines. Then the next thing would be to go back to the hip and just kind of blend that out so we don't have like a sharp point at that side. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to measure my under bust level. Mine is 14 inches and that is marked. So on the right side of my dart leg right there, I'm going to measure 3/4 inches out, and on the left side I'll measure half inch out, and then I'm just going to reconnect with a curved line. You can see what I've just done. So the right side of my dart will be bigger than the left side, and then you just reconnect to your waistline, and that is what I've just done. Now heading straight to the neckline from my armhole line right there, that is it. So I'm going to measure 4 inches up, and that is where my neckline will start from, and then I'll just reconnect back to my armhole line. Now the upper dart I have right there, I'm going to measure it. Mine is 1 inch, and then I'm just going to mark it out on my neckline and reconnect back to my dart point. That is just so that I have a firmer neckline when I'm sewing. Now all I need to do now is to mark in my seam allowance, 1/4 inch at the neckline, 1 inch at the side, and 1 inch at the hem line, and that is all there is to the front of my pattern. So now I'm just going to cut that out, and then we'll keep it aside for cutting on our fabric. When you're cutting, guys, remember to also separate your panels. So you separate the center front from the side front, like I'm doing. You can see what I'm doing. So I'm cutting out the side front, and then I just need to cut that out. Just draw a straight line from there down so you can separate the pattern into two. So I'm just measuring it just so that I have like a straight line from my dart point right there all the way down, and that's me cutting everything off now. So I have 2 panels, center front and side front, and that's that. So now let's move straight to the back of our pattern. The back is really easy, and we'll be focusing mostly on the neck and the neckline and the dart shaping. Every other thing, which includes like the penciled up shape of the dress, is the same as that of the front. So for the back neckline, you can go down from the armhole by any amount you want, but for me I want 1/2 inch, and then I'm just going to reconnect that back to my actual armhole line, and that is that done. Now on my across back level, that is it right there, I'm going to measure out 1/2 inch out from my dart line, and then I'll just reconnect a straight line to my actual back dart, and then you just separate it as center back, side back, and that is my zip allowance right there. And just to make sure your zip lies flat when you're done sewing, just go out by 1/2 inch from your zip line, and then just shaping it up like I've done on my pattern, and that is that. So to avoid gapings on your pattern, you can just pick a small dart on at the neckline of your patterns, maybe 1/2 inch, it depends on you, just so that before you cut the pattern on your fabric. And this is the direct fabric I'm using. You just need about 2 yards to put everything together. And now I'm just going to lay out my pattern pieces on my fabric, and then I'll just add like my allowance, half-inch allowance to the panel centers. Like, you need to add half-inch allowance to the joining so you can join the panels together. So, and then once I add that, I'll just cut out, and this is it cut out. So I also cut out interfacing for the fabric, but the interfacing is not full. I stopped at the hip line for the interfacing, and that's that. So you also cut out your lining also, and then you begin to join your fabric pieces together. So you join your side front to your center front on one side, and also join it to the center front on the other side. So I'm just going to be doing all of the sewing I need to do, and yeah, so you can see what it looks like at the end. One thing that makes a world of difference to your bustier dart when you are sewing is to place it on your bust arm and iron the seams open. It makes a big world of difference, and that's the completed front. You can see the shaping. So I'm just going to place my lining piece on over that, and then I'll sew my neckline. I'll use my lining to turn my neckline, and then I also use my lining to turn my hemline, so just to keep all the rough edges inside and all of that. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing, and then when I'm done, I'll do that for the back piece also, and that is it. So I've also gone ahead to fix my zipper, and that's the completed dress, looking smooth, clean and tidy. So that's my zipper, that's the inside of my dress, that's my bust shape area, and that's that. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to hype it up in the comment section down below. Hit the like button also, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye guys.